In this next video, we're going to show you how to create a corporate ID record, including the new beneficial ownership requirement. To do this, first let's log into the system, or in this case, confirm. I can confirm using my fingerprint, so I'm going to do that. Now I'm here. The first thing I will do is hit the bottom right-hand corner of the plus sign there. That's how you add new records. And I will go to corporate identification. So now it brings up the form, and you just go through the form like you do for the other forms, just one step at a time. So this record is for a buyer. It asks me what the property address is for this transaction, and if I've already set up an individual ID for this transaction or a receipt of funds, I could just say attach this record to an existing transaction kit, find the transaction kit from my list, and it'll add it in and fill in the information such as the transaction property address, etc. But in this case I don't. I'm just a new record. So we'll start with the transaction address, and I'll say 200-309 McDermott Avenue. So the map widget finds the address for me. I select it, fills in the information. It all looks correct, so I'll hit set. Next is to pick the date of the transaction. So it's today. And how am I verifying the corporation and what's its name? Normally what you would do is you go and get the corporate records from the corporate office. In this case it's a Manitoba company, so it'd be the corporation office in Manitoba. And then I'd enter the information from there. The name of the corporation is Forward Form Solutions, and the street address is, I'm just going to 344 Main Street in Winnipeg here. So it fills all that out for me. Nature, principal business, software for real tours. And now it asks the name of the directors, and how you enter them in is you click on the box and you enter them in one at a time, and then you hit enter or space after each one, and it will automatically enter them in. So here I'll say and hit enter, and then I'll enter Simon Fiore, my business partner, and hit enter. And now they're both there, so now I can click back on this main screen. And now the type of verification record, so corporate documents. Go to the next field. Source was Government of Manitoba Records Office. And the registration number, RT. And if there's another entity that's relevant, you can enter the information here. In this case, there's only one entity involved, so we'll skip the verification of another entity. Now here you complete a section if I'm unable to ascertain the existence of an unpresented entity, but in this case that's not the case, so I'll just hit skip. Is there a third party? If I thought it's a third party, I would hit yes, and it asks me some information about that. In this case, it's not a third party, so I'll hit no. Client risk, again, you use your compliance policy at work, but in most cases, if it's a Canadian corporation and you don't expect there to be any risk, you just click low risk, Canadian corporation. Business relationship. So what's the nature of the relationship? Why are they buying this property? So it's land for commercial use. And optionally, I can type what my business dealings are with this client. Here I'll just say it's the first transaction. Measures taken. What do we do at your office to monitor your business relationships and to keep client information up to date? So in this case, I'm just going to say other. What we do is, we check in once a year to see if there are any changes. And if there's, if it's a high-risk client, what enhanced measures have I applied to make sure that this transaction is good. In this case, that's not a problem. Also, suspicious transaction, terrorist property report. Make sure that your compliance officer is checking these transactions against a known terrorist list and checking to make sure that there is no conflict there. Next is the beneficial ownership record, which is a new piece that was just added by Fintrack. And so start off by saying what type of entity it is, and in this case it's a corporate entity. And now I have to pick all the individuals that own more than 25% of the corporation, of this corporation that's buying the property. Now, in doing this, it has to be if somebody owns 25% directly or indirectly. So they may own 25% of this corporation, or they may own 25% of another corporation that owns this corporation 100%, which would mean they still own 25%. So you have to go all the way down the line to see the corporate structure all the way through to make sure that there's no one person that isn't listed here that owns 25% or more of this corporation. So that might seem a little confusing, but if you think about it, it'll make sense. And if you have any questions, ask your compliance department. Here, so for person number one, I'll put my name down and my address. And then I can add another person here. So I'll add person two, I'll add my business partner, Simon. Okay. And I can add more, keep adding more people if I need to, but in this case, it's only the two of us. And then the next thing I do is I have to enter in what the ownership structure and control is. So say both individuals own 50% of the corporation. Is it a non-for-profit? No. What's the best practice? Is the information in sections 1, 2, and 3, is it accurate? And so I asked the entity for information and they provided such. If this is the case and they provided information, you have to pick what information was given. So in this case, the articles of incorporation were given, but that's not going to give you the beneficial owner information. So also, I received a signed attestation from the client with regards to ownership. And so now you have to collect this signed attestation and include it with this transaction to your office. The dates the measures were taken, I'm going to say today. And here you complete section 5 if you couldn't get information on sections 1, 2, or 4, but I have all that, so I will just hit save. Before I do that, I'm going to take something out. I'm going to make something, not complete something here. Let's take this postal code away. And now I'll save the information, and you can save a record anytime you want. So the record's now saved, but I can't submit it until everything is completed. That's one of the foolproof things that we do on the system to make sure that people don't forget something or submit things that haven't been completely filled out or filled out correctly. So if I try to hit submit, it'll ask me to resolve the issues, and it tells me right here the postal code is wrong here. So now I fill it in, now I hit save again. And now I can submit the record if I like. I hit submit, and it'll send it as a PDF to the following recipients. If I have my compliance officer listed in my profile, I can just click off that first box. Here I'm just gonna have it sent to myself. Now as you can see, the record has been submitted. And now when I go to my records, it'll be in the completed tab here, this corporate ID. If I want to view it, I can click on it and the PDF is there. And it shows me the form filled in with all the beneficial ownership information in there as well. So all your requirements have been met and everything's good to go.